Guys, you're tuned live to tnsradio.com. Thank you all very much for staying tuned with us on the line. We have got Freeman of Freeman TV. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing spectacularly well. Can't complain. No point, because nobody really listens anyhow. Now, I know that we have spoken before. We have had you in TNS Radio once or twice before, myself and possibly even Vin, I think, had you on as well at one point. So to give some of the listeners, and certainly the new listeners, a wee bit of background about yourself, could you do just that? Could you give us a wee bit of background of yourself, where you came from, your thought process, how you got to where you are just now?
All right, I'll just start from the beginning and go. I was born of an interesting family, my father being a worshipful master, and he chased flying saucers in Project Blue Book and was building nuclear missiles when I was born. My mother was raised in the Nazi youth in Bavaria, and they just brought me into a different type of perspective. So when I started as a child looking into UFOs, ancient astronauts, this was all my real forte. I seemed to get some sort of psychic message at 10 years old that clued me into some galactic history, as strange as that could be. I'm still researching this, what I call remote viewing experience. And this occurred right at the same time as people like Robert Anton Wilson and Timothy Leary, and even Robert K. Temple was writing a book called The Sirius Mystery. And I managed to receive some sort of data from Sirius that I drew out in a picture, and I've actually been researching that for most of my adult life now. I had no idea that it had any purpose or meaning until the book started showing me the right symbols and signs that showed me everything. So I believe there's a bit of a genetic history in my life that has allowed me to see things in a different perspective. So as I graduated college, I came out and I started to view the world. I was introduced to the ideas of secret societies and Freemasonry. Then I learned of my father's involvement, learned of what he had been doing in his life. I didn't know this prior. Once I discovered Freemasonry, I just realized that there was a code all around us in corporate logos. And there was a secret agenda going on within politics that no one was familiar with. Some people are aware that in America, over half the presidents have belonged to a Freemasonic lodge. I've been to Australia, and I can tell you nearly every prime minister has belonged to a Freemasonic lodge. So it became my heart's drive to find out what this was, what Freemasonry is.
The 322 Club there, you must be referring to, yeah?
Well, that's a different club. That's the Skull and Bones, and so this is an outside.
Same deal. It's all bullshit. But on you go.
Well, it's really bizarre. You know, once you start to look into this puzzle, you're going, wait a minute. Now, these guys are practicing magic, an ancient form of magic that's Hebrew in origin, and once you start to uncover that, then the signs and symbols of all the corporate logos that you drive past every day suddenly take on a whole new meaning. And I can absolutely and certainly and conclusively prove that every corporate head that I point out their corporate logo as Masonic is Masonic. They are all Masons. I've been to more Mason temples than, well, Masons themselves. I can guarantee you that. I've visited them all over the world and in almost every state in America. So I have come out to the world to express, hey, look, magic is a portion of your existence that you are unaware of. That your leaders, the reason they put a pyramid on the dollar bill in America, the reason that these signs and symbols, the reasons the streets of Canberra are designed in a seal of Solomon, why they are on these geomantic lines, all of this actually has purpose and meaning behind the locked doors of these secret societies, and I wanted to show people what these things meant, and then leave it up to all of us to decide whether this is a good or a bad thing, because a lot of people want to rant and rave and say Freemasonry is Satanism, and you can even make claims and prove this in some ways. I can prove Freemasonry is extraterrestrial in origin, and you take this to this whole other level to start to understand why politics are happening. And so in that, I was able to start to see symbolic gestures that actually unfolded as political events, and I predict.
Yeah, you kind of broke off there. Are you still there?
Such things as 9/11.
Yep.
I predicted the banking crash of... I'm sorry? What's that?
You broke off just a wee second there. There must have been a delay or something. On you go, continue.
Oh yeah, they don't want me getting out there. But I was able to predict that W would be forced into office. That there'd be it was not so difficult for me to pinpoint the very time and space that they would do this event, and that they would need this major terrorist attack in order to foment this Homeland Security Department that no one really wanted. And was my advice to everyone, as I told them, look, there's going to be a major terrorist attack on 9/11. Don't freak out. This is all for your reaction. And, of course, everybody did freak out. And honestly, had I known that the rise of sales in American flags would have been so skyrocket like it did, I would have invested. I want to turn my predictions into money. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, they were, crazy. So I've been able to use my knowledge of their esoteric arts to apply it to what I see in the symbolic gestures of politics, and then make correct projections as to what's going to occur. And I have yet to be wrong. I've been wrong. I've been right every single time. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what I do.
Okay. Before we get any further, Freeman, do you have what you would probably call a cell phone number, a landline number we call it here? If you could maybe pop that into the box, because you are dropping off on 2 or 3 different occasions there. You've dropped off, so difficult for me to follow, probably a wee bit harder for the guys that's listening to follow. So if you can pop me
It's possible that my mic is too hot. Well, if I turn this down a bit, does it stop the clipping? And can you still hear me?
Well, I turned you down this side, but if you're clipping that side, yeah, it's going to clip you out. Right. So we'll run with that now, but just give me a number anyway, just in case.
Okay.
And if need be, then I can call you back on that.
All right. I was trying to check the levels. Yeah, I'm definitely peaking out. So let me just turn myself down, and that should really fix things. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pop you in a number here. Yeah. We live in an amazing Type 1 society now where we're all globally communicative and can just talk all over. Let's see.
We've got a wee bit of static back off you there as well. If you can maybe turn a dial or 3.
Okay.
And I'll just turn you up a wee bit this side because you've went a wee bit quiet. I know you've turned down for the sake of clipping, but I'll turn you up this side just a wee bit.
Am I coming through it all now?
Yeah, you've definitely come through, but we're getting a wee bit of static off you. Maybe your gain settings or something there.
Am I coming through at all? Because now I don't even show up.
Yeah, you're coming through, but as I'm saying, you're still getting there. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, now can you turn your mic back up again then?
Okay, how about now?
No, you need to turn it up. Keep talking and turning up until I tell you.
Coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up more, coming up, coming up.
Mic
Hello?
level, okay. Mic level's fine, but you're getting a wee bit of static there. If you can kill the static, we're sorted.
I wish I knew what that was. I've never had a problem with this before. At least not one that I knew of.
Well, okay, listen, we can just run as is. The boys and lassies will just need to put up with the static at this point in time. Okay, so we're talking about secret societies, Masonic, Satanic, 322, all these kind of things. So where did that lead you then? What was your next kind of...
Well, then I began to... I can see that this is still coming through so loud. I began to understand a little more and start to look in more of the symbolism and start to understand the space program and what the elite were actually attempting to achieve. And this was something that really has been a curious thing to start to unfold, because we start to look at the technologies that are around us with CERN and ISCAT, ionospheric heaters, chemtrails even, and start to try and understand what the agenda of these men are. Now, this is all conjoined with the idea of the secret societies, because the secret society aspect of it defines their motivations. So I started to dig deeper into the space program, and of course found the weaponization of space coming, and simply was able to follow Werner von Braun's projection as he said that they would use the Red Scare, then they would use terror